Yo, yo, yo. How's everybody doing? Lamont's just nipped away to the little boys' room. Yeah, that's right, Paul. He's personal year rhino. Yeah, Paulo. Synth Samurai. Quasi Webbit. I'm not sure about the golden shower, fella. Maybe. It'll all depend how long he is. Away, I mean. How are you, Paul? You doing good? Vinyl Bates, hello. BBT37, what's that? You've got me intrigued, Mr. Chrome. BBT37. Oh, right, okay. I knew what Blippity Bloop Theatre was. I'd never, yeah, that's just me, Scottish and slow. Getting your shit pushed in by the weather, Wabbit. Is that in a good way or bad way? Is the weather hot or cold? Oh, fuck. Yeah, we've been exceptionally good weather in Scotland for a good couple of weeks now, which is unknown here, very unknown. And they're saying it's still going to be good for the next sort of 7 to 10 days. It is remarkably hot here.
It was warm outside and it's been raining all day with this.
Yeah, Wabbit was saying that they've got rain and storms, lightning.
And the water is even warm. It's like you could work outside with it raining and you're just good.
That's where we are quite lucky here. We've got very good water for a start because it's such a wet place. It's full of lochs and dams and all fresh water. So we're quite spoiled that way. But because it does get so cold, sort of underground, the water, even through the summertime, it does slightly, I wouldn't even say warm, but it's not as cold, obviously, as what it is through the winter time. But even at this time of year, no matter how hot it is outside, we still get colder water out of our tap than what we will out of the fridge water dispenser. It's not filtered, but to be honest, we are very, very lucky with the water systems up here. It's very, very good.
Yeah, our well water is good. With it. Yeah, I love our well water because it's hard water and it has a lot of minerals. We just have a really good filter for it, you know?
Yeah. Studio effects is in as well.
Overrated.
Hello.
Paulo Hanzo, Uncle Chrome. See, Samurai just came in to drop that like real quick and bounce. Thank you for that.
He dropped a like and he dropped a pirate's flag.
The Renegades.
Why are pirates called pirates? Here's a good question for you.
I don't know. Why are they? Was it the actual code and conduct for a law?
No, it's because they are.
Oh, God damn it, Scotty. Why were pirates always Scottish and English speaking? What was up with that in the movies?
Vikings is more Scottish, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yawning. Yeah, I think Vikings was more sort of up our neck of the woods.
I thought it was more
sort of
Norway.
Norway and yeah, well, but the thing was Norway and Norwegian waters and Scottish waters are merged.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So there was times when I was offshore, if we were on mobile rigs, we would only be allowed to drill within the Scottish water side of things. However, you were so close to the border of Scottish water, Scottish seas, North Sea and Norwegian seas, that my clock at times would go off, my alarm would go off an hour early in the morning because it would change its time. Like, because I always used my Apple Watch as a sort of a clock when I was offshore, it would automatically adjust to the local times, and they're an hour apart from us. So we were so close to the Norwegian borders in the water that my watch would jump into Norwegian time, then it would jump back into Scottish time. And
damn, I didn't realize it was so close geographically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, very. Like the last rig that I was on, which was fixed to the seabed, and it was in the North Sea. It was in Scottish waters. But we had, obviously, if there's fog and we can't land the helicopters, like if I was due to fly home, say on a Friday, if the fog came in and we couldn't land in Aberdeen, we had alternates. And one of the alternates was the Shetland Isles, which is way up north. But if we couldn't get to the Shetlands for fog, we would have to fly into Norway, then get a flight back from Norway to the UK, because that was the next closest place to us. Yeah, it's very, very close.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the distance is, the shortest point between Scotland and Norway. Let me go and check that, but it's not a lot. Because I think the furthest out I was only like 190 miles or something.
Welcome in Wookie 18. Welcome in John Bedham. John, I'm going to send you a DM here tonight. Got to talk to you about a couple of things. Satan here. Hello, Satan.
Satan. Hey, Wookie. Hey, Dan.
It's a taint's throw distance.
John Bedham. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Stupid Google is trying to do it by car, which is 1,600 miles, which is completely wrong. Sailing distance.
God damn you, John. That fucking joke. Pirate walks into a bar with the ship's wooden steering wheel as a belt buckle. Bartender says, "What's with the belt?" Pirate says, "It's driving me nuts." Oh.
God. Yeah, it's only 180 miles, Lamont.
Damn, that's not far at all.
Yeah. 200 nautical miles, but it says here Sailing distance from Scotland to Norway is at roughly 180 miles equals 200 nautical miles. Takes around 36 hours sailing. And a chopper, it took us maybe 2 hours.
All right, because you twist my arm. Okay, Scotty, get ready for the ultimate fucking question.
Oh, here we go.
And don't fucking laugh. Try to take this as serious as a twat could take it. Let me bite this cookie first.
Oh, whoa. You can't come into the stream, Lamar, and hand out cookies knowing that I'm on the other end of a fucking camera and you can't even give me one.
So I got this trick I mastered. I go to the Walmart where they sell these delicious oatmeal cookies. But the thing is, they come extra hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I take my cookies and I put them in a Ziploc bag and I get a full banana peel.
It tastes like it.
And I seal them up in the Ziploc bag.
Damn.
And it softens the cookies right on up like they're fresh out the oven. And they taste with a hint of
banana.
Okay, you ready, Scotty?
Go for it.
Do you think there's some validity to the Loch Ness Monster?
Yes.
God damn, you answered it so fast.
That was too goddamn. I didn't even get a drink of my fucking beverage before you answered that shit.
All right.
Yep.
Now, I really want to know because, you know, I'm just that person that kind of believes in cryptids and otherworldly things until I have a reason not to.
Yep.
Why?
Why? Because there's too many sightings over the years. Not lately. I think whatever was the Loch Ness Monster is likely to be long gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're riding a sort of, it's a bit of a tourist attraction now, if I'm honest about it. But whatever it was, I think there had to be some sort of validity. Now, what it was, I don't know. But yeah, there's definitely validity in it because it was such a huge thing. And even when I was younger, like I remember, I think I was maybe 8 or 9 years, maybe a little bit older than that, maybe 10 or 11. And one of my friends' dads took us up there fishing. And we camped in a tent and stuff. And me and my friend Chris, we spent the whole night with this zipper open in the front of the tent, just watching the loch to see if we could see this Loch Ness Monster.
Mm-hmm.
And the slightest little ripple in the water, we were like, oh, could that be it? Could that be it? But it's a very big thing in Scotland, certainly up by Inverness and things.
This is the actual Loch Ness Lake you were at.
Oh, yeah. It's not far from us here.
Oh, shit. Okay, so when was the last report on the Loch Ness Monster?
Last sort of reported sighting. Let me see. Last reported sighting.
Tom Smith says Bigfoot is real. I don't know if he's bullshitting or if he's actually a believer in the old Sasquatch.
But if you watch the Missing 411,
you believe.
You'll believe
in something.
Well, there you go. There's the latest reported sighting of Nessie occurred on March the 5th, 2025 at Dores Beach, where a witness observed a large dark mass beneath the water surface. This sighting was confirmed as the first potential sighting of the year by the Loch Ness Centre. The witness described the sighting as part of the body of the creature submerged between the water, and there's a photograph of it, actually.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong,
hard
Scotty.
to see.
Oh,
but didn't
Tom said he's serious as fuck.
But didn't they drag that lake and found nothing with sonar and all kind of?
Right. Well, I think that's what he was saying. Like whatever was there is no longer there.
Well, it's for anything to still be there after this amount of years, there would have to be a male and a female, and that's the bit that kind of tells me whatever it is, it's bound to have died by now. And if it died, where is it? So it's a tricky one. It really is a tricky one.
Right. But is it also something that some people were saying that this thing can be It's like an amphibious type thing where it can also. How far is another lock from the original lock it's been? Can this thing come out of water and transfer itself into bigger water?
Or is there a tunnel of water where this thing can go back and forth
or
from?
Cave system?
I think if there was a cave system, that we would know about that. But if you actually witness the size of Loch Ness, there is absolutely no fucking way that they've sonared the whole loch. It is colossal.
Really?
Oh, wow.
See, I thought it was just this regular lake that's no more than...
No.
So that's the famous picture right there.
If I go to...
And then that picture was reportedly taken from a distance away. So if that's a distance away, that's actually bigger than what we can perceive it to be.
Rabbit says there's also an Easter bunny.
I believe that too. Until proven wrong.
That lays eggs. Already painted with candy inside of them.
Mr. Cadbury himself.
I wish that there was a giant Easter bunny that shit candy eggs. I'd follow him anywhere.
Sup, Doom?
Doom Mangar, Studio 8 Fox.
As your head.
We got to pick Tone Smith head about this Bigfoot. Tone, get your ass in the fucking StreamYard. Oh, but you too good or something? Come on, PA.
What's up, Woody? Yeah, you landed on the right fucking topic, didn't you? We're about to make your head scratch big time.
I'm trying to see here the size of Loch Ness. Right, so it's 54.4 kilometers squared.
54.4 kilometers square.
Okay, give that to me in the layman
Mileage.
So it's like 22 square miles.
22
22 square miles of lake.
Yeah, come on. I doubt they fucking...
That's a lot of water.
That's a lot of lake.
Yeah.
And it's deep too, isn't it?
Yeah.
How deep is it? Give us the running depth of Loch Ness.
Depth. Here we go, Loch Ness depth. Average depth is 132 meters or 433 feet. Maximum depth is 226 meters, which is about 744 feet at its deepest point.
Holy shit, that's deep.
Yeah.
For a lake?
What was that, a quarter mile?
Down the way, yeah, it will be.
Deep as Moser's bass notes.
Who said that?
Rabbit.
Fuck yeah, Rabbit. That's really deep.
Yeah, that, and Loch Lomond is another one in Scotland. It's absolutely colossal. It actually ends up looking like you're just looking out at the sea, because the loch itself is. The thing is, the difference between the sea and the loch is lochs are all fresh water,
right?
Because they're not connected to the sea.
Has your old man or any of your friends outside the story you just told, has anyone in your area or your past area have any personal experiences or?
Not that I know of, no. But then I'm saying we're far away from it. It's probably an hour and a half, 2 hours away from us to get up to Inverness from here. So I dare say if I was more local, there's probably a lot more local stories up there of people that know people who have seen whatever they've seen that may or may not be the Loch Ness Monster.
Mm. What's the general consensus in Scotland when you speak about?
I think it's mixed views, to be honest with you, Lamar. I think it's mixed views.
It's just something great about folklore.
Yeah. And it's very much the same with the Bigfoot side of things. And I think there's got to have been something in the Bigfoot story for it not to be. There's no. What's this phrase? There's no like smoke without fire, or
right.
These stories have to start somewhere, and
Well,
for them to continue on and people to sort of still sort of think they see
the
something.
the is it the James Patterson video, the real famous Bigfoot video that was taken, I want to say the 80s, and it shows them in the woods and it has the long stride, and how they broke the video down that literally this entity that they caught, it could not, although some tried to debunk it and say, oh, it was all made up, they confessed, they actually, per the story or how the written interview went, they never confessed, they stuck to their guns, they took a lie detector test, and they said, I don't even have a friend who would be able to fit the shoulders of that costume if there were a costume made. And you can look at all the articulating points of the entity moving, and they're saying that the video was legit. It was not forged or copied. So I'm with you. I think, although I haven't seen one, I can't prove or disprove it. So
Yeah.
I'm on the fence of it's possible.
Yeah.
But you totally think that there was something there before.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. Like when you have people that live in New Mexico and they go down to Roswell, and they all go to that farm where it all supposedly happened. Everybody that goes there, they just get this like ominous feeling that, holy shit, an extraterrestrial race landed and crashed here. Which that turned out to be true, right? All the evidence and how the military forced Lieutenant Marcellus, was he a lieutenant or captain?
Lieutenant, I think.
Lieutenant Marcellus, who discovered it.
Lieutenant or major, one of them.
Yeah, Major Marcellus sounds right. They made him lie and say it was just pieces of a weather balloon when that wasn't his actual statement. And they have his actual statement. It's only later the news redacted what it was. Even the news came out and said it was they had UFO debris. And then they turned around later and said, no, it was just a weather balloon. So again, it's one of those things where you kind of like, there is no smoke without fire.
Yeah, I like when the waters are muddy.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
It's
It
interesting.
leaves you with intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Mm-hmm. It allows you to put some, to every great conspiracy, there's always some truth to it. Like one of the greatest conspiracies was that JFK was killed by the CIA. I mean, there's probably some truth to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few that are like that. I don't want to really rock any boats, but the Twin Towers was another one for me that I just look at that whole thing and think, how was that possible?
Right, to collapse from the bottom. And they were finding thermite all over the place at the bottom of those
And
towers.
other buildings were being detonated to drop.
Exactly.
Precision.
Yeah, like you've had like building 7 that went down, and these were no other buildings in between the Twin Towers and these buildings went down, but they were all FBI, CIA buildings that all got taken down. It was just bizarre. It was just, I found it really strange.
Yeah, they interviewed.
And again, I don't have any proof, but I just think how, for 2 towers to fall identically
Yeah.
and straight down.
Right. That's a control.
Yeah.
That's a controlled demo.
Right. And they were saying that it wasn't even enough jet fuel left to burn and melt that steel the way they said it was,
Yeah, but how does
causing damage.
And the weight.
Yeah, but how does that cause total collapse?
That's what the engineer said. Because these planes flew at such a high altitude and hit the very tips of the building, if anything, the building should have like toppled over at the top, but the weight from what was damaged should not have or could not have buckled the base, right? Even if that portion of that building had collapsed, the base was still stronger to withstand that type of collapse because it's already holding up the fucking building. Like,
Right.
you're not adding or taking away weight. So he was like, that would not collapse a building. But what would, to bring it down the way they came down, is a controlled demo. And that's still to be pondered.
Right.
Like, people still have that notion it was a fucking setup.
There was actual videos of people hearing explosions on the ground before they heard or seen the planes hit the buildings. There was a bunch of accounts that there was explosions from the ground.
Right.
Which was leaving people like, why are there explosions from the ground?
Is it one of those things where we went to war? Do you remember how we started World War II? Was it the Lusitania? Was it the ship that was a cruise ship? I forget how the story goes, but somebody can look that up. I think that's how we got into the war.
It was a false. I think they told this cruise ship that it was safe waters, and it ended up not being safe waters.
Right?
And
Was that the Lusitania? Or something?
I think Churchill has something to do with that.
Yeah, I can't fully remember we did get all this at school, because obviously it was way before my time. But yeah, I can't exactly remember how it all started, to be honest.
Or was it World War I? I don't remember which one.
World War II, a lot of that was all the Hitler thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of that.
It was one of the wars where I think Churchill, or they were saying Churchill, I think Kent was telling us the story, to be honest, where it was
Sorry, on you go.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, Chrome was saying their World War II started when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
The Germans bombed Pearl Harbor. Knock that shit off, Chrome. Fucking Hitler wasn't bombing. It's the Japanese, you son of a bitch, and you know it.
They were Germans wearing Japanese helmets.
Oh my God. Yeah, no one caught that. Monkey brains throwing bullshit out there.
Oh, that was an Animal House reference.
Oh,
I think everyone remembers where they were when the Twin Towers were hit.
I know. I remember.
I know. I do.
I remember it vividly.
Horrendous. I was offshore, and I came in at lunchtime, and all my crew were stood in the TV room just staring at this big screen. And I just walked in after having my lunch, and I was like, "What film is this? No, this is happening, Scott. This is real." And I'm like, no. And I thought they're on a wind-up. Somebody's got some movie on. I honestly, it took me a good 10, 15 minutes to believe that what I was watching on the TV was actually happening. It was unbelievable.
It was felt.
Unbelievable.
They said that the event was so traumatic it was felt around the world.
Yes, 100%.
I don't believe I don't trust my country, so I'll leave it at that.
Well, I don't trust the ones that are
I don't trust
crooked within the country.
I don't trust the powers that be. I mean, I've watched documentaries on why those towers came down. I've seen accounts where everybody was like, no, it was the planes and I was there. And, I just don't know. And I'm going to leave it. Who says that a lot? Is it Prometheus or
Rabbit?
No,
No,
Dulcify.
Dulcify.
I don't know.
Not knowing is good.
I don't know. I'm 50-50. One, it could have happened with just the planes, but watching the video and seeing these people try to add things up look kind of suspicious. I don't know. One way or another, I don't know, but I do know this. It was a sad fucking day to see all those people die.
Oh, fuck, it was horrendous.
I remember the people jumping off of the buildings. And I remember hearing the accounts of people saying they sounded like gunshots as they hit the pavement.
George was there. He was saying shit was crazy.
Yeah, that's right. George was there.
Horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Kent, are you in the lounge?
He's not in the private, no, or he hasn't messaged yet in the private.
I don't trust what Kent does back there, so I got to check regardless.
Damn, George said it's too much. George said it's too much for him to fucking write. That means George seen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hell, he was in his late mid-20s? Georgie, where were you, like 26, 27? I was like 22.
Tone Smith said he had a cousin that was late to work on one of the towers. watched planes hit it in the entrance.
Oh man.
Sitting in his car. No, Kent said no, he's in bed.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was the firefighters and everything going in there.
Right.
Gee.
Rabbit said it didn't make us a stronger country.
It did for a brief moment. It brainwashed us to go fucking fight a false war in Iraq and kill Saddam, which we still don't know what that done for us, and we haven't left the fucking Middle East since.
Yeah, we got family that fought that war, and they still don't know what it was for.
Right.
They were gun ho to get there, but it's like
just
all the land they fought for was handed right back. All their friends died right in front of them for no reason whatsoever. They fought for no reason. It's not like they took the land and settled it or, built bases on it or whatever.
If that was even the thing.
If that was even the thing.
We don't even know if that was even a thing.
But they literally went over there to fight for something and gave the land right back.
Well, it was to conquer the dictatorship going on, to take it from them and give it to the people.
Yeah, but when you was actually boots on the ground, it was something different.
Different, yeah. It's just and a lot. I would imagine because of the heat of the moment, a lot of our soldiers just tell us where to point, we'll just shoot it.
Yeah, Rabbit's right. Now they're trying to pull benefits from those who were in those battles.
It's the American.
It's shocking, isn't it? Really?
I'm sorry.
American
if you're a
government
warrior
way.
for any country, things should be served to you on a fucking golden platter, because you're ready to give your life for your country. At the drop of a dime from a couple of politicians saying, go kill for me. You don't need to know why, just go do it. You should be handed everything. You should be handed a home, free medical, a guaranteed mental health services when you come back.
A job.
A
well-paying job.
Your kids should be taken care of. A credit union just for particular people, but you still got to fill out.
They got the VA too, but
paperwork and go through loops and hoops.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's George saying, yes, somewhere around there, my wife had called me to confirm if it was true. I had a perfect view of the planes from the Bronx. I remember the gaping hole in the side of the first building.
Damn.
Holy fuck, man. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, not nice memories to have, George, that. Not nice at all.
I don't think anybody had nice memories of it.
No.
Even watching it on fucking TV was horrendous.
And it just seemed to keep getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
Who was that?
That was the thing. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it was like, fuck, when's this going to stop?
Somebody in the army that I met, he said, oh, wait, I remember it stuck out too. He was like, God damn, this is our Pearl Harbor. And he's like, I'm going to war.
Yeah, bang on, Wabbit. Yeah, there's something to be, Wabbit's saying there's something to be said for those who witnessed it there versus us witnessing it all on TV.
Yeah.
And in the aftermath of it all, not just the sort of psychological damage it's done to people who were there and seen it and lived it, but all that dust and shit that came out of those buildings that people must have been breathing in for fucking miles beyond where the buildings were. There must be people that have got like respiratory problems.
Oh, they did,
and,
Scotty. They did. Cancer and all kind of crazy shit.
Because the buildings were built in the era of
big iron, like
and asbestos and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Early 1900s.
I remember the mesothelioma outbreak or epidemic after all that. Remember all the firefighters and first responders that suffered lung disease and cancer from it?
Mm-hmm.
Horrible, George. He's saying there, driving through the highway felt like I was the last man on earth.
Damn, Tone Smith said that they had fighter jets flying over every few fucking hours, like just to hear that going off.
Jesus.
It's like that. It's like what that guy said. That was our Pearl Harbor. That was our moment. We had been traumatized from an attack.
And it was the entire world. Obviously, the people that were at the front of it all, in the thick of it all, if you like, it's affected them a hell of a lot more. But it really did have an impact on the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
What happened there? It was just like, what the fuck?
And it was just what brought everyone around the world together was the tragic sadness of human loss. Like you were watching a bunch of people needlessly die.
Yeah. And it was the helplessness of it all.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're sitting seeing people that are still alive in the buildings, but there's fuck all you can do to help them.
Right.
It was like, oh, jeez.
And it's hot and it's on fire and they have no choice either to burn to death, to be honest, or jump. Like there is no choice. And to watch people hang outside of those buildings to get away from the heat or choke on the smoke, that they much rather jump, that says a lot. That's the ultimate situation. I mean, think about that. What goes through your mind?
Yeah.
These are my final thoughts. This is my last time in this body. That's crazy.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at that comment. Kent is now in the green room, but he's typed all one word. Now I'm in the green room with no space bar.
This motherfucker. Why is he crawling out of bed? Why is he crawling out of bed?
Who said anything about crawling?
Why are you jumping and skipping out of bed?
I thought I'd come on just to say, fuck me, keep it light.
I'm trying to sleep, you twats.
But because you're not keeping it light, now I gotta come
in. Keep it light,
fucking
twats.
This spacebar not working on the keyboard again.
That's weird, eh?
Oh, I don't know what's going on. So how's it going, gentlemen?
All right.
Well, I don't know, Kent. We were in the doom and gloom of fucking 9/11.
Now get the fuck out of that. There's enough of that.
Get out of there.
All you got to do is look at the news. Seriously, you just look at the news for 5 minutes. You're there going, "Where's the razor blade?" Fuck this. God's sake!
But
I hear this afternoon that Amazon's leaving America.
Well, goodbye.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, going to the United Arab Emirates, where they will have. I think they've been granted a 10-year no tax deal, and offered up, to relocate their 40,000 staff as well.
There's a lot of people in Dubai.
Indeed.
It ain't gonna hurt the delivery service. They still got to have hubs to get all the boxes out.
Yeah, but they will be able to then put what the tariffs would be costing the American people on their website, so they will know how much they're being fucked up the arse.
You know what we should do.
I don't know why they call it Amazon for America. It's all the shit comes from fucking China.
You know what we should do?
It's Amazon.
Start a logistics business and buy a van.
There you go.
That's like I could see like
Got to start somewhere.
Business opportunity in that.
Business is gonna be
taking away
booming.
one of the largest delivery giants.
So what are you going to do? You're going to be Horseshoes or Us?
Fuck
fuck it.
shit. Logistics sounds good for a part-time job.
Horseshoes, next day delivery.
Did you see Tonesmith's comment, Kent?
What's that?
The homeboy can fix every other key in his room, but he can't fix that fucking space bar.
Fucking, I know. It's so bad. The thing is, if I reboot the computer, it'll work. Fuck that keyboard.
You know what they call that? They call that get off your fucking ass and go buy a new keyboard.
It is a new keyboard.
Get your fucking warranty.
With Bluetooth and tits and Christ knows what else on it and all the rest of it. Every now and again, the spacebar goes, nah, not today, mate. Not feeling it.
Jesus.
Weird.
I don't know.
You can't fix it?
Tits and Christ.
Well, technically, there's nothing wrong. It seems to be something to do with the Bluetooth communication with it. And it just goes, nah, I'm not going to do the spacebar today. So, and it's just...
Kent, do you think the U.S. landed on the moon?
Yeah. Yeah, because it was logistically possible at the time, anyway. Although it was a bit of a risk, but yeah.
How come we haven't been back since, Kent?
Because we generally as a race have
as
been
a
there
race.
and found it was a big dusty rock. I go, that's not very interesting. Move on. What else? Oh, Mars. That looks interesting. There might be shit there.
Right.
So.
Fuck. Well,
we'll only go back there when we need to mine it, if it's got anything of value on it.
Per Buzz Aldrin, they weren't allowed to go back because of the extraterrestrial race that told them to fuck off.
I tell you what, on a universal scale, the moon really doesn't fall into anybody else's backyard.
It really doesn't.
It doesn't.
No.
It really doesn't.
And it has no strategic value to anybody or anything, outside of Earth.
Well, however, NASA has put together this program, and they've been getting, I think these people were 21 at the time, 21, 20, they were in their young 20s. And they placed them in the desert in Arizona. It's very hot and arid. And I don't know if you guys saw this, and they've been there in this quote unquote mock-up biome of a habitat that would be replicant of Mars, where they could not leave the biome. They have to stay in there for 2 years. It was 4 people that did this study. And as they were monitoring them through surveillance and checking in on them and shit like that, they could make no contact. They literally had to grow food. They had to become self-sufficient, get rid of their waste, and make like water and all that shit. And I think the mental toll is what really got to them, right? Because you have these 4 people, you got these different mindsets.
You got a task.
You got a task, and eventually, after 2 years, that shit gets fucking old, and then you get cabin fever.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if we're ready to go to Mars yet.
I don't know if we're even ready to leave this fucking planet.
Well, one of the hardest things will be the emotional strain, because I think it would fuck people's heads up if they were, if say that it's 4 people in a room, and they're the only 4 people on that entire planet, and the nearest next person, is like, what is it, about 10 million miles, isn't it, to Mars or something like that?
6-month trip.
6-month trip.
And there will be a lot of psychological strain on people. So it would take a certain kind of person to be able to do it.
Just to get there, Kent.
6 months.
We're not even talking about being on the planet. We're talking 6 months in confined quarters in space.
Yeah.
I think that might do people in before they even fucking get there.
Yeah, but I mean, there was people trapped on the space station, wasn't there?
The space station.
They were, I think 8 months.
Yeah, almost a year.
That's true.
Yeah.
And they were getting along just fine.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't the delay in communication, because, I mean, that made, you're saying something and then having to wait, 3 minutes for an answer to it. But
Right. And they're close to home. They can actually see home. They're a pod away from just,
they can literally see where they live,
right.
Practically.
Yeah.
Mars, it's just going to be that little dot in the sky.
Dave said he can't do it. He could not do it.
No, I don't think I could do it.
No?
I imagine there's a certain kind of person that would be able to do it, but it might not be the certain kind of person that you want to send on a mission.
Right. Psychologically just kind of fucked. Yeah.
But you know you're not coming back. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I would have to believe you. They're telling these people, look, you do this,
we can get you there possibly.
You're not coming back.
Right, but we don't have the means to jettison you off the rock to bring you back. That we don't have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there was a way, because I know they've been studying the atmosphere just to see if there was a way of, once there, they could actually manufacture the fuel to get back.
Right.
But even then, it's touch and go.
Right.
It is touch and go. So,
Now,
and if the guy who's trained to, take the capsule back up to the main ship that will be in orbit and dock with it, if he, I don't know, has an accident, they're fucked. They can't go home.
Well, Elon did say he could. This is why they're working on the remote landing where it can land itself.
And it's doing a hell of a job.
And he says, well, the plan is to send 4 or 5 of these rockets or these ships to Mars, have them land in strategic places.
Yeah.
And if they could probably also drop pod and land fuel as close as they could to these rockets. So when they got there, they would already have a jettison system in place. All they have to do is fill it up. And these are untouched rockets, right? Because they're sending them via a different rocket. So all they would have to do the research, fill up these rockets, climb up the little frickin' ladder, however they're going to do that, get into the capsule, shoot back home, and you start the whole taxi experiment. But how many trials and errors are we going to? We're going to lose people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not like we haven't lost people in space already.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Challenger shuttle.
Well, yeah, but I mean, through long term in space. I mean, I know the Russians have lost people
plenty.
before now.
Yeah. I think during the pre-trials of Sputnik, they were losing people just trying to get it off the fucking ground.
Oh yeah, I mean, they talk about the first creature in space, which was Laika, the dog, and still up there. Laika's still whizzing around us. The biggest problem we're going to have now is there are absolutely thousands and thousands and thousands of satellites going around the Earth. Some of them are decommissioned, admittedly, but a lot of them are in use.
So just debris.
And it's getting dangerous to actually leave Earth's orbit.
Because of the debris.
Because there's just so much shit up there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And every time something gets, crashes into something else, and then you've got billions of bits that all have to be tracked.
I saw that movie, Manny, Don't Look Up. That shit was funny as hell.
Mm.
Oh, UFO movie.
But it's about getting off the planet and stuff like that. You have to watch it. I don't want to spoil it for you. The ending was lovely.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if even, let's just say even 70 years from now, it's a thing, right? They're successfully getting people to Mars and back. Do you take the trip? Like Delta Airlines is like now taking people to Mars and back.
How many people would sign up for it?
I don't know. If it was Ryanair, I definitely wouldn't go.
There you go.
You never fucking get there. He goes, you have now landed on Mars, but your luggage is on Pluto.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck.
Imagine your baggage charges as well. For
Oh
going
my
somewhere.
God! It has to be all in one price. It has to be all in one price. I think people would be like hurrying up, trying to get off here to leave their problems behind. I think people would think their lives would be 100% better than being here.
You think they'll send people that has a terminal illness first, like someone that is expendable? I guess
No, they'll want to send the most mentally stable, most physically fit person possible. Because
that rules me out.
going, being pioneers like that, being first out, it's you got to be strong.
But it's a one-way ticket we're talking about here. That's a death sentence we're talking about.
I think some people would find pride in that, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, once somebody's gone and they're there and it's established, it's easier for the next lot. The next thing you know, you've got a colony on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
You've got things established, and then there'll be regular shipments going to Mars to build larger, better accommodations. And, just build up a colony, and then the next thing you know, you've got a city on Mars, and then the next thing you know, you've got biospheres doing, farming, and this is how you do it, tiny bit at a time.
Terraforming.
Yeah. Well, we won't terraform Mars because it's not worth it. We might try doing something with the atmosphere.
I heard nuclear weapons to
Yeah.
rapidly heat up the atmosphere.
Yeah, Uncle Chrome, could you please look this up? There was a study that they were thinking about deploying 5 nuclear weapons on certain points in hemispheres on Mars to speed up the terraforming.
What they wanted to do was get the natural,
By irradiating the fuck
gas.
out of it. How's that work?
By what was it?
It was
some sort of gas that can heat up.
I remember that. I
And
totally remember that.
Some weird ass stuff.
Yeah, it seemed it bonkers, but I guess there was some kind of
Fucking belt us.
Yeah. You see, the planets that are worthwhile going after are very, very far away.
right.
Glissy 187.6b.
Yeah. I mean, so basically, what we have in our, shall we say, our local system is only going to be good for resources. But that's going to be difficult to do. And they're, most of them are, as we stand at the moment, too far away to be economically viable. So until some form of, proper propulsion system is created, it's just a cost that they're not really that bothered about. So getting a colony on Mars would be sort of like the stopgap for now.
Well, I mean, at least we know that things can still work and exist. I think Voyager 2 had become interstellar 4 years ago, and it's like they said is now 10 billion miles or something like that away from Earth.
Yeah.
And that left when we were babies.
Yeah. Well, you see that the one thing about that is,
And they're still getting contact.
in a universal picture of it, it's kind of going in a very, very uninteresting way. They were saying about if it had been going almost in the opposite direction, there's a lot more interesting shit over there than there was where that's going.
Yeah,
And it's going to be so long to get anywhere of any significance anyway, that we would, as long as we don't blow ourselves up, we would have evolved and overtaken it by the time it gets anywhere anyway. So I don't think it's functioning anymore now.
It is. I think last year it sent the signal, or this year. I think.
Well, as it gets further and further away from the sun,
it gets weaker and weaker.
it'll just get weaker and weaker, and eventually won't be able to pick up any signal.
But how about that though? We finally have, other than our sound, we have a physical object that's human made, that's interstellar. Like, to me, that's just mine. And I know it's small, and it probably will never be picked up.
Yeah, but it's a step, isn't it?
But it's
a significant step. If you go back to two guys, banging rocks together, to that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's quite a leap.
And it has our code in it too, right? Isn't it? It was it has they put a LP in there.
Well, they are now thinking that might not have been such a good idea.
Because it's broadcasting.
That's like broadcasting your address, credit card number, and everything on YouTube. We're saying, "Oh, we're here," and we're not that advanced. Well, they'll be able to tell that. They'll look at the probe and go, "They're not that advanced. They've got resources. Anybody interested?" Seem inviting, trouble. But hey, it's out there now. It's gone. So tough shit.
Would we really be worried about inviting outside trouble? I mean, they can literally just spectate us and go, "Oh, they're doing a fine fucking job of eradicating themselves."
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, because they were saying about, was it such a good idea putting our, address on the side of this thing? But we actually make quite a lot of noise from a planetary point of view. The signals that are coming off us out into space is phenomenal compared with most, so they'll be able to find out what, from millions of miles away, which is the dead body, and which is the one that seems to be interesting and worth a look. So, I don't know. Anyway, the thing is, as long as our imagination stays ahead of our technology, we'll keep progressing forward.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we don't end up blowing the fuck out of each other.
That's what I'm saying. Because sometimes the human imagination can be worse than our reality. And that's what I'm always afraid of.
Yeah.
And just from reading what Chrome put in, terraforming Mars is a headache.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's a massive challenge. But because there's more likelihood of, believe it or not, profit by terraforming, or at least colonizing Mars, as opposed to colonizing the moon, that's why we haven't gone back to the moon. There's nothing of real value there. Literally. Yeah. It comes down to dollars.
Right. I saw an article based on why it's a good thing for humans to build under the ocean.
Yeah.
And that was like a fucking head scratcher in itself, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like, apparently we've only ever seen about 1% of the ocean floor.
Oh, yeah, 5%, 1%, whatever. It was
it's something really tiny, yeah. We
now,
don't know what the hell's down there.
Now I have to ask Scotty the question all over again. In the ocean, do you think there's something bigger than what we know about and have ever seen that just hasn't been documented yet?
Oh, of course there is.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think anything extraterrestrial or anything like that. But I definitely think there's still, I think it's quite a common thing that new species are being found all the time.
Yeah.
Because technology moves on so much that we can go to deeper depths without submarines imploding on themselves because of the water pressure and everything else.
Yeah.
I definitely, especially, you see some of these, even if you watch some of the wildlife programs.
Yeah, in the jungles alone.
Fucking hell, they look like aliens down there.
Yeah.
Things that fucking glow in the dark and light up and change colours. And
that's where, I swear.
It's just like, what the fuck?
It's weird, isn't it? When you think about it, though.
I've seen half of it.
Right.
When you look at our environment, like this planet as it is, and then you got space, you got the oceans, and then all the rest of it. It's really, really not a very nice place for life to be.
It's not. It's eat or be eaten.
It's you go too far that way, you suffocate and die. Go too far that way, you get crushed. Yeah. It's like,
yeah, it's a hazard. Earth is a hazard, but it's teeming with life. And if I was to evaluate this planet, it's a eat or be eaten planet. Everything is consuming something.
Yeah, Doom, bioluminescence.
Yeah, wasn't it James Cameron that was the first one to get to the Mariana Trench?
He wasn't the first, but I think he was.
He caught a bunch of weird-ass life.
I think that whole team went the deepest, I believe.
Right.
I actually thought Doom's spacebar had broken there as well, the length of that word he'd fucking typed. You've been eating a fucking dictionary today, mate.
Fucking Doom. Out of nowhere with shit.
That looked like Kent's message earlier on.
Yeah. Help me, I have no space. I really need to do something about it. Thank you very much.
I imagine fucking Doom sitting there, too, in a dark-ass place talking about, these twats. Bioluminescence, you twats.
My mind is broken.
Yeah.
That's what he says. My mind is broken.
I mean, how many species do you think we have give me a percentage. Just make up a number, a percentage of how many species you think we've really documented in the deep ocean.
In the ocean, I would think something in the regions of maybe 10%.
I'm with you. I would probably even say less. Yeah.
I don't even think it's 10%. Actually, I think it's probably like 5%.
Fucking 90.
I mean, because you can't ignore like all of the micro shit that swims through there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more water on this planet than land, so it's
It's about, what is it, 8/10 or something stupid?
Yeah. 72% of Earth is water. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, we're still finding, new species and stuff like that now on land.
Yeah.
Never mind the bloody ocean.
Right.
I used to always fantasize that there was just an all-ocean planet with perfect temperatures and there's no land other than underneath the waters.
It's possible.
How would that civilization, if it was to be intellectual like us, how would it look? Number one, and how would it thrive? And would they ever be able to come off their planet?
Yeah. Scotty, Maryland is saying, can you look up deep sea creatures that they've discovered over the past 2 years? And she'll do the camera work on her side. But there is some crazy shit that's been seen down there.
What about the ocean under Antarctica?
Like, can we even get under there?
Yeah, there's that shark, that blind fucking shark that's like supposedly 500 years old. He's blind.
Does he mean North Pole? Because there's ocean under the North Pole. But I don't think there's an ocean under Antarctica. It's part of the ground.
Like the fresh water versus the ocean water? Like, is he talking like the two stacks of water? Like there's...
What's up, Royd?
Isn't there a spot, too, where the Atlantic and Pacific meets? There's like this coloration, like you can see the green and blue waters collide.
Yeah.
And then there's like a methane lake underneath the ocean, too. Like a whole nother fucking lake. A methane lake. Just think about that. This is so heavy.
Fart pocket.
A fart pocket. Imagine striking some fire down there. Fuck.
Yeah, but I mean, you could probably set up a rig and literally drill for the methane.
Oh, you could, huh?
Oh, well, I wonder, Scotty would probably know how much fucking different fish and life were out there next to the oil rigs.
Like, oh, fucking hell, there was hundreds. Thousands. Yeah, with me, mostly when I was on semi-sub, it was quite often we would have to send ROVs, which is like remote-controlled vehicles that would go down.
That's fascinating that there's an underground ocean under Antarctica. That's mad.
Who said that?
Uncle Chrome. So he watched a documentary about drilling to the underground ocean. She's on bread, really?
Fucking hell.
That's what I'm talking about. What do we fucking know about our own fucking planet?
Not as much as we'd like to think we do.
Right.
That's insane.
It's crazy we know more about space than the ocean. And even
the Mariana Trench is down that way, isn't it? That neck of the woods.
Yeah, the depth of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Close to the equator.
It's down near the bottom end of South America, isn't it?
I'm kind of like enthralled too when back in the day when they had that whole Bermuda Triangle thing. Like there's certain parts of the ocean where they say the weather and the air just isn't buoyant.
Yeah,
they were talking about currents that would generate, we could pull whole ships down.
Right. Yeah.
Like a big hole in the sea. And you go,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they were calling it some kind of, or the Oceanic Discovery something or rather, called it a no-fly zone and a no-ship lane area.
Yeah.
It's illegal to go in certain parameters of that ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of that, from sort of my experience offshore and things, a lot of that type of thing can be caused by, if you've got a gas leak, because obviously oil can be quite close to the surface as well, or gas can be quite close to the surface. And because of the water pressure, say you're 1,000 meters or 1,000 miles down for these deep sea drilling rigs, some of them they're never miles like that, but some of the oceans are fucking hundreds and hundreds of miles down. Mm-hmm. And if you've got gas at the seabed and you get one bubble that might be this size when it comes out of the seabed, by the time it gets to the surface, it keeps expanding.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is where that boat is, Or if you get hundreds of little bubbles coming out of the seabed and it's just percolating up through the rock.
A hole appears under it.
A hole appears and there's no buoyancy
And
left for the boat, and the
down
boat
she
just gets
goes.
swallowed in.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when we were drilling at certain places, we would have to put the roustabouts, the news starts on the rig, on bubble watch. And they thought, every one of them would think, when you first tell them you need to go on bubble watch today, that you were taking the piss. Because they were like, no, seriously, you need to stand over the handrails and just watch the sea all
They thought
day,
they were getting
because if you
initiated.
see tiny little bubbles at the surface, that is the first telltale sign that you're going to wait to start getting gas at surface, and we need to either shut the well in, stop drilling, or move the rig. So all these sort of these things where boats disappear, I think that has got a lot to do with it. It's just natural leakage of gas in the ocean.
Well, they were talking about they said that when if quite a fair-sized volcano on the ocean floor erupts, what happens initially when the ground breaks from the eruption, above the magma is a shitload of gas, and I mean a shitload of it. So you can take some of the biggest ocean liners you can think of, and when the gas gets to the top, it'll open up a hole big enough to, like, as deep as a skyscraper, and 3 times wider than an ocean liner, and down she goes. And then the sea just closes up after it. Not a trace. Gone.
So Scotty, are you on board as thinking that the Bermuda Triangle is just this pocket of ocean where gases emit?
It could be gases. It could be a massive water. Like, if it's a massive, you obviously get these.
Well, you get these currents to run against each other to create these.
They'll create a whirlpool and things like that.
Yeah.
If it's like water that's getting rapidly drained from one area and going to somewhere else, you've seen it in American rivers and things like that, where people can throw logs in and the log will disappear down this funnel of water and appear at another side of a
like a
river
wormhole
somewhere. Yeah. So I think if these things can happen on small scale in rivers and lochs and lakes and things like that, they can happen in the ocean as well, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Tell
you what, it probably isn't. Fucking aliens.
No.
Right.
Right.
That's just
everything is alien.
that's
can't
just,
explain it. Must be aliens.
That's just what do they call that? That's just when you want to pass the buck, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's sort of like, haven't got an answer, put aliens. That'll do. Yeah.
The top of this article.
We've got 8 different things here that were found last year, deep sea.
Yeah. The top of
That's
that
it.
article said it was only 5%. What does that say right there? I think it said 5% of the ocean has not been explored, and then 10% has only been explored by sonar.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Which only gives you geography, really. It doesn't tell you about anything that's down there.
Yeah, 5%. That's the minute amount of the. Okay, I think Mantis.
No, Scotty's got it.
Oh, Scotty's
Found at 8,000 meters. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Yeah, an amphoid found at a record depth of 8,000 meters at Atacama Trench.
And yet you will see in books where they said, "Oh, nothing can survive X pressure or whatever," and then they go, "Hi."
Elephant shrimp as well. Look,
This one's even better. Meet Casper, the newly discovered sea octopus. In September this year, this was last year, a seamount almost 4 times the high as the Burj Khalifa was discovered in watery depths around 900 miles off Chile's coast. The newly discovered underwater mountain boasts a plethora of new species, from Casper the octopus, comically named the flying spaghetti monsters, and fish that look like a Muppet. That's fucking nuts.
Isn't that amazing?
Damn. Blow that picture up, Scotty. Can you get that any bigger?
Which one's that?
That one you just scrolled. Go
this
back
one
up.
Here.
Oh, Casper.
I don't know.
Casper.
He's a weird alien. Yeah.
Look at that fucking thing, man.
See, if you want to see an alien, I always say it. Look at the bottom of the fucking ocean.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go.
It's about as alien as you're gonna get.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So the thing is, right? Do we think that the universe builds in consistency? Does it build bipedal people like us? Does it build octopuses? Does it fish? Are these things, do we think, are universal to any planet of evolution?
Oh, you're getting to open a can of worms here.
I'm just saying, we know water is water, correct?
There is a theory at the moment of, and what the theory speculates is it possible that evolution as a whole is actually sentient, right? And because when you break any life form down to its basic components, we're talking molecules, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So where you have evolution, right? A creature is created, and you can see it all around you. You know, where you have octopuses that can camouflage themselves into such a way that it can be sitting on a rock, and you have no idea it's there until it moves. Right? Now, how the process involved in a creature being able to evolve to do that, right? The creature can't say, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to be camouflaged and just do it. It can't. It doesn't seem to work that way. Yeah. So how does it happen? Right. Do the molecules know what the fuck they're up to? Do they know that they're moving in one particular direction rather than any direction?
Or are they just adapting? They just know to adapt.
Yeah, but how do they pass that on if they die?
Right. Well, look at a gecko or a chameleon when he's in the jungle. Is it the chameleon saying, I need to turn to this color, or is it his instinct and the way about his nature, his molecules that say, we need to be changing this color? And I find it when they die, every last one of them, they have this certain thing in common. They all turn a dark brown or a pink or something like that, some sort of weird color before they die.
But what Ken is speaking about, I just saw a documentary on, and I'm wondering if somebody in chat knows the name of this exact thing. Somebody documented it, a famous scientist. It was named after him. There were some monkeys on an island, and it's always the fucking monkeys.
And it's always an island.
But there were some monkeys on the island that figured out how to, and I know I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to throw an example out there. They figured out how to hunt different, and I believe it was by using sticks, and they figured out that a certain stick or a certain planet or a plant provided certain properties and nutrients, right? And they're on an island. They're completely separated. And lo and behold, another anthropologist or whatever the scientists are called for these species witnessed either weeks or a month later, the transference of that knowledge to monkeys hundreds of miles inland somewhere else. They then started to do the same exact thing almost as soon as the monkeys on the island did it. So
like a consciousness.
It's called something. I have to look it up. I forgot what it's called, but it's based after a scientist's name. I was hoping somebody else had seen this. And it's a phenomenon that is based on telepathy. Like there's more to us and to every animal and creature that we're tapped into something that can transfer the knowledge, just like you would be able to text somebody from the US and the UK and start a conversation. It's done the same way, and it was named after a scientist, and it's well documented that this happened, and it continues to happen.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a consciousness web that we just can't see, that you can just pull ideas.
Yeah, I think because what the theory is getting at is that we may have to change what we mean by sentient.
Right.
It's more than quantum entanglement. I am the one son. Although I know what you're talking about, but this was literally named after a scientist who's done the study, and I will have that answer on tomorrow's show.
It's like when you look at the building blocks of things like giraffes, right? They got long necks, so they can eat the leaves on the high trees, right? But the first ever giraffe
must have had a short neck.
Was it born with a long neck? And if so, how did it know it was supposed to be born with a long neck? Mm-hmm. So something has made a decision at some point. Otherwise, lots of animals would have long necks.
Well, the Tyrannosaurus was equivalent to the giraffe, right? Back in the day and age of,
and yet they were completely wiped out, right? And yet somehow, you've got to be able to take some of this biological information and pass it on across a gap of death, and it just seems strange that
I'm with you, kid.
During this Jurassic period or whatever, we got dinosaurs roaming the earth, right? Mm-hmm. We have an asteroid impact, and the dinosaurs are wiped out. But other creatures clearly didn't die out.
Right.
Whether it's because they, what little food supply there was through, the environmental impact that had happened because of this impact, funny enough. So smaller animals were able to survive better and all the rest of it. And you think, okay, fine, all right. So there's room has been made now for evolution to have a go and try out some new stuff.
But it goes back to what we were, and I agree with you. Even if we have a hard reset, a hard wipe, it's still making things replicant of what had already thrived, like the giraffe, the Tyrannosaurus, the ostrich, the fucking birds back then.
Yeah,
But
you see, even because they say, all right, well, creatures evolve. What? But they evolve in a direction. Mm-hmm. Creatures don't seem to evolve in a direction that makes them die out.
Right.
As such, they evolve in a direction that makes them more likely to survive.
Yeah,
and this is the point where these guys are saying, which hints at some sort of plan, some sort of awareness,
right,
for evolution, to do this.
Right. That's where I'm at, because every time it comes back, it has legs. It has 2 or 4 legs, right? It has wings. It's like this infinite revolving blueprint of what its possibilities are, but it always comes back to a staple of, like, how come it doesn't have 36 fucking legs? Or why, you know what I'm saying? Not 80 heads and 60 eyes. It has these, it's kind of hard to explain because it's like so fucking mind boggling, but it has like this like universal blueprint. So what I can expect to find on Earth, most likely I can find some sort of identity of that on another planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard for me to 100% believe in Darwin and what he was speaking about.
Even ourselves, right? We are told, and through medical research and all the rest of it, that we see everything upside down, and then there's a part of our brain that reverses the image to our minds, so we see things the right way up, right? At no point in, how many million years has evolution gone, do you know what, we should probably do something about the eyes so the image is the right way up and we don't have to bother with this, doing this fucking translation thing, because it's lag, mate. It's slowing everything down. And yet, when it comes to explaining why, how come we see things upside down and our brain turns the image the right way up for us, they go, oh, that's evolution. You go, well, wait, hang on a minute. How the hell does cells and molecules and all this business know that we're seeing it upside down. And we need something in our brain to turn it the other way up. Because if we always saw everything upside down all the time from the moment we're born, we'd adapt and just used to seeing everything upside down.
Well, that means every animal is seen the way we're seeing it too.
So it doesn't make, you can't just, it's just,
it's a head scratcher, really, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, but although it's physics, it's just the way the lens works. It makes the image, it puts it onto the retina upside down, and then the brain reverses it. But evolution knew that it had to turn the image the other way up, and developed, a part of the brain to be able to do that, which I would have thought would be quite fucking complex myself, because we can't do it. Even now, with all our supercomputers and everything else,
can't even fix a fucking space bar.
So when these people are saying that technically evolution, that, all this cells and all this micro shit that's going on has some form of sentience. It has a plan. It has an agenda. It has a direction it wishes to go. But we tend to just go, no, it's evolution, or just walk away. Yeah, that's explained now. Walk over there.
I just can't understand why we haven't evolved like everything else on this planet has evolved.
Well, technically we have.
Mentally, maybe, but like, how come we haven't, like, figuratively, like, our bodies? Like, name something about us physically, other than the mental, that is evolved, that
I think we lost
makes us better. That
we lost
makes
more
us
hair.
Well, we
like
lost some sort of a second stomach, didn't we? Or some, because they're not quite sure exactly what it was, but our appendix, which used to be some other part of our digestive system. I suppose we used to eat all sorts of crap back in the day. But then we stopped eating all this sort of crap back in the day.
De-evolving.
Evolution has de-evolved. You go, but we don't need that anymore. But we still have the appendix.
Right.
It's a very, very slow process, but it's been transferred to every human on the planet. That even ones separated by oceans have appendix.
Okay, but after all these years, that's how far we've come as the appendix.
Well, no, there's probably loads of other things, but we don't know.
Right.
Because we haven't got, 1.5 million year old bodies, intact bodies that we can properly analyze.
Other than like would it be the Cretaceous period where Neanderthals were just like big fork-headed dumb monsters that run around and go,
and
go.
Oh yeah, we have skulls, we have bones, but the flesh part, tough shit, mate, gone.
Yeah.
Roy Joy Voice says we lost a lot of mass in order to support a larger brain.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Not in America.
That's
I see a bunch of fat fucks out here. America, we got fat ass fucking people that got
all
big
you got,
bodies and small brains.
To be honest with you, you appear to have more fat people, but don't worry, it's prevalent in most of the first world countries. It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like an advertisement,
And if you look at evolution being presumably humans, if you like, evolved from apes, monkeys, whatever we evolved from, why did our muscle mass deteriorate so much in comparison to apes, monkeys? Because that is such a beneficial thing that they've got, because their muscle their muscle strength is something like 10 times a human.
Right.
Rip
It's
your ass
fucking
apart.
Crazy.
How come we didn't get that, Scotty? How come we didn't get that, Scotty? How come?
I have a counter question to that. Because it's one of these throwaway phrases where they go, we evolved from monkeys, right? Why haven't the other fucking monkeys done that
That's
as well?
what I've been trying to say.
Why aren't there other humans?
Half and half. Yeah.
So
halfway evolved monkeys.
Right.
Yeah. It's almost like somebody's going, no, do you know what? I think we'll stay as monkeys. We'll let that lot get on with it.
Just something is not adding up, and I think we can see it. that there's something not adding up. Like,
well, we're not seeing the whole picture, so we're not
Right.
understanding it.
That's what
Right.
I'm saying. We're not seeing.
Yeah.
Why do we need fucking jackets and clothes to stay warm?
Yeah.
Everything,
Tech-
everything else does
technology-
not need fucking clothes.
Yeah, fire prevented us from doing something maybe greater than, I don't know. Maybe fire, just the creation of fire, stopped us from evolving a certain way.
You mean our intellect?
Our intellect. I think technology is just it stemmed a lot of things for us, and we're creating the things we need to live versus the organic structure of us taking the necessary leaps and bounds to give us what we need.
But that's a double-edged sword, though, because our technology is making us have a lifestyle
It is.
that our bodies aren't actually designed to have.
Right. Yes,
Processed
I would
food,
agree with that.
sugars and
Yeah.
Wabbit says, why wonder about it at all? Why even have the
But why not?
Because I like wondering about shit.
I think that's I was just going to say, that's the human.
Yeah,
element,
it's
right?
interesting.
Yeah.
I just
Curiosity.
it's nice to wonder. You know, if everything was explained and everything was like, you know, you just know everything and everything is correct and everything like that. Now what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to have these mysteries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pontification.
Pontification.
Wagyu had a good point there as well regarding monkeys not evolving, because he says there is no evolutionary pressure for a monkey to get any more intelligent right now.
I mean,
So if there was a massive fucking
So
Yeah,
what kind
again,
of
another-
strange ass monkey did we evolve from then?
Yeah.
because clearly we weren't Neanderthals, right? That was something completely different, correct?
Supposedly.
gorillas are pretty ripped for vegetarians too.
They are.
They'll whoop your ass.
Okay, Scotty, what I'm looking at here is strange in itself.
This dark oxygen thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I kept it on that one. That seems to be the most interesting one. So the discovery of dark oxygen from deep sea metal lumps could trigger a rethink of origins of life.
I mean, what the fuck is
A
that?
fascinating discovery of how oxygen is produced was made in 2024. New research conducted in the Pacific Ocean has revealed oxygen production occurs in complete darkness at the seafloor by metallic nodules almost 2.5 miles below the ocean surface, where no light can reach. Scientists theorize that this oxygen is likely to support a plethora of life underwater, but deep-sea mining companies are already eyeing up the nodules because they contain valuable metals like lithium and copper used in battery production. But yeah, the picture itself is basically these oxygen nodules that are at the bottom of the...
I'll be honest with you. I think I'd rather have oxygen than copper.
Yeah, I would say so. Let's just fucking leave it in there.
Yeah, leave it the
Right.
fuck alone.
Because
It's down there
instead
for a
of-
reason.
Right.
We're chopping down the trees that cleans the fucking oxygen. Just let's keep the
Yeah,
fresh oxygen
and removes
coming
the
out of sea.
carbon dioxide and all
Yeah,
that bollocks as
Just
well. isn't
look
it?
at that.
Yeah, don't go fucking with what you don't understand.
Well, we've been doing that for a couple of thousand years now, and it's beginning to show.
Yeah, it is. Proper rule of thumb is you're gonna fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Look at our atmosphere.
Wabbit's got a good point there. He'd rather have methane than marmite.
That's
Oh, I
true.
don't know.
Solid.
Methane on toast.
Yeah, everything else on this page that I've shared is fucking YouTube videos. You'll end up getting strikes for it, so I'll not bother playing
Yeah.
any of them. But
Yeah.
Mind you, you get a lot of methane if you eat enough Marmite.
For real. They
Oh
go
yeah.
hand in hand.
Oh yeah. One begets the other.
What was that, Scott? Can you find the picture of that? There's a fish with this horrendous mouth and these
human
glowing
teeth.
no, it was like these razor blade pointy teeth with these antennae on top of his head, and it was responsible for luring in.
Anglerfish.
Anglerfish, yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
so,
and he has this
yeah.
little Dobry thing that I think glows or something, and it attracts other
my-
creatures. And-
Why does
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
have to exist?
Yeah, fucking intelligent.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Why
And
does that? How does that even begin to take part?
Yeah.
Like, how does that
It's
think?
not. Yeah, but even if the fish come up with the idea, it'd have to have control of how its body develops,
Right.
which we don't seem to have. So the cells have to be intelligent,
And my whole thing
which is a weird thing to say, really, when you think about
but
it.
it makes fucking sense.
Yeah,
right?
even Manny's saying we're all mutts. Like we even merge with each other.
Right.
Is that a form of evolution? Just merging with each other, different human species and races.
No, that's an orgy.
Oh, that's an orgy. Oh.
Aye.
I've been missing out my entire life then.
Yeah, there is quite a few. There's quite a few DNA switches that are still off.
Well, could we force our evolution by like we're doing now?
We don't know what it's going to do.
Becoming Robo Sapiens? Could we force our evolution?
Probably, we kind of are already.
Right.
In a very sort of like mundane kind of way, but we are messing with that now.
Right.
Yeah, male anglerfish.
We're just short of putting a cell phone in our goddamn abdomens and becoming part robot.
Yeah.
I mean, why does that shit have to exist? I mean,
We have uranium-powered hearts, as it is, for heart replacement.
Right.
We've got, we're always doing little things, hearing aids. Technically, it's like Borg, machine in the ear to allow you to hear.
why did a fish feel like it had to evolve into that?
It's one ugly motherfucker.
How big is that goddamn thing? Do we know?
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the female.
That's a male. It says male angler.
No. It's pointing at the male.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
Oh, fuck, so it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking
Didn't you?
hell.
That's the male. He likes big women.
And he cannot lie.
I don't think he uses
that.
dick. I think he just swims up there
And just ejaculates on
and
her
just
jaw.
spits a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, has a quick wank and then comes back out again.
He jerks off on her jaw and bounces.
That's another thing.
I cannot lie.
That's another thing. Yeah, a little known fact about ducks. Ducks can have, female ducks can have sex with several different partners and then choose which sperm from what duck to have its eggs with.
that is fucking.
Yeah,
how do they?
Now,
even
how's that
do
for fucked up?
Yeah.
How do they fucking compartmentalize sperm now?
The other thing is, I want to know how the hell they found out.
Real.
Checking. Yeah.
She eats them for his cherry
fish.
dinner.
I found an even worse one.
Fuck's sake.
If I go along here. This is another anglerfish. Present.
It's not even like those
screen.
fish are even fucking like chewing their food well. They're just like shredding it and just consuming it.
I'll tell you what, the male anglerfish must know how to say, yes, dear, no, dear. 3 bags full, dear.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, motherfucker.
The
Look at the
fuck
male
is
there.
this?
That's an anglerfish as well. Yeah.
That's the less attractive one.
That's a fucking mess. That's one that's been about a bit by the looks of it.
It's
Bloody
like
hell.
he's been fucking in Chernobyl waters or some shit.
I just find the thing is just
Meth
one
head.
big head with a fin.
Wabbits is some
I wonder what the
meth
male sees in her.
Meth head angler.
What the male sees in her, Kent? I'll tell you what. He's trying to preserve his own life.
Yeah. That's why he stands behind her.
It does look turned inside out, Azio.
Yeah.
That's sort of like a stomach with teeth.
See,
It's
when you
just-
see things like this, the ocean is just full of
It's fucked
fucking
up.
Weirdness.
bizarre-
Just
Yeah.
mad weirdness, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like
It's
swordfish,
fascinating, though. I find
Whoa.
it fascinating.
It really
Yeah.
is.
you know?
They
What?
say when a
A
when
fish
whale-
decided to have a chainsaw for a nose. I mean,
Right.
fucking hell.
Yeah.
when a whale's body reaches the ground, its carcass, it's devoured within, what did they say, 48 hours?
Oh, wouldn't surprise me.
Mm.
That one's
Well,
preserved.
Well, but the moral of this fuckery is to be thankful for how we look.
Yeah. For real.
Fucking A.
It's fucking disgusting.
It looks like a bollock in formaldehyde, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, a couple of balls with
That
teeth.
gruesome
Yeah.
teeth.
Yeah. This is what's inside the ball bag.
Fuck it.
An anglerfish.
An anglerfish.
I wondered what the itching was.
Good God.
What's that on its nose? Is that attracting lure?
That's the
thing?
lure. Yeah.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Can you imagine another fish being attracted to that? You go, fucking hell. You must be desperate. Fucking hell.
What are its predators? What eats anglerfish?
Actually, it does vaguely remind me of an ex-girlfriend. I must admit. But
Ah, bless. Shit. How are you still living, sir?
I
She's
stayed at the back.
Just like Spong, I'm gonna devour your babies.
Wow.
I wonder what the largest documented in the ocean is.
It's got to be the whale shark
It can no longer be the whale shark.
Or
I
an
refuse to
octopus.
believe that.
or an octopus. If it ain't a whale shark, it's an octopus.
Largest thing ever found in the ocean, Scotty.
Blue whale,
Blue
it's
whale.
yeah, it's got to be.
because they can get to stupid sizes.
Oh yeah, look it up, Scott. What fucking eats an asshole with teeth? Let's
Blue
find
whale,
out.
bang on, Kent.
Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah, they're huge.
Steel?
Well, that we know of, shall we say. There could be something lurking at the bottom of
I think
an
they
ocean
say-
somewhere.
With
That's
the,
what I'm saying.
With the
Ken.
blue whale, a human can swim through its arteries, and it has the heart the size of a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah. It's a big bugger.
Yeah.
And almost extinct.
Yeah, we can't go ahead and capture those and make more of them like we do everything else that goes close to going extinct.
Well, you've got one here as well. You've got the lion's mane jellyfish, which is 120 feet long.
Good God.
Now, why did it feel it needed to be that long?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A blue whale, total length 108.27 feet, which is 33 meters. That is fucking huge.
Christ.
108.
That's a whole rugby pitch
Yeah.
and a bit.
100.
Actually, the tail would be in the
feet.
stand.
This studio is 20 feet long.
Sperm whale, 78.74 feet.
Fuck, unbelievable,
A
isn't it?
quarter. This is a quarter of the size of that son of a bitch. This studio. is like-
Whale shark, 61.68 feet.
Yeah, but you look at the size of the oceans, you go, yeah,
It makes
okay.
sense. He's
Yeah,
a
that makes
fucking-
sense.
He's a tadpole.
I've seen one of these offshore, basking shark, and it
Yeah.
is fucking scary how big they things are. And that's
Yeah.
only
And they're quite wide as
40.2.
well, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Big,
we actually
wide
thought it
body.
was a whale at first, and
Yeah.
then it was only because the tail was going side to side. I went, hang on a minute, no, because whales' tails go up and down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they're horizontal whales' tails, whereas sharks' tails are straight up and down.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's when we realised, no, that's not a whale, that's a fucking... And it's stuck around the rig for about a day, and it was just mouth wide open, but there was heaps of plankton in the water at the time. It was midsummer, and the water was
Yeah.
like a really green colour, like a sort of luminous green. Not glow in the dark, but you could just see there were shitloads of plankton there, and that must have been what it was there for, was just scooping up all this. It filters it all through its mouth.
It was a whale shark.
Wait, no, it's a basking shark.
Can you
That's
pull
what
a
it's called.
picture up?
That's what we've got. That's... Oh, sorry. Why is that not showing that on here?
Hmm.
Oh, why are you not? Oh,
I-
hang on.
I've
On a
seen
different tab?
I've seen some pretty
It
huge,
is a different tab, yeah.
Mm.
some
Yeah.
pretty huge sunfish.
Uh,
Those flat-looking
cool.
things.
right, okay, if I
Oh,
go
sunfish.
back,
Yeah. Sunfish are fucking crazy.
So are grouper. Grouper are big as shit too.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you'll see that will give you a context of the size of the things. Look,
Oh, good God. So it doesn't eat people, it just eats plankton.
it literally just opens its mouth and filters all the plankton through its mouth.
Yeah.
I can't zoom in on them because it keeps jumping to different tabs.
Mm.
Yeah, you can see it there with its mouth open on this one.
That's weird.
How would you like to see that shit coming at you in the ocean as you're going out for your casual swim?
Well, I'd rather have that coming at me because I know it's not likely to want to eat me.
It'll just regurgitate you.
What about that diver who got freaking eaten by a whale and then spat out?
Oh, yeah. You remember that on the Atlantic coast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lucky it was a vegetarian whale.
He said that thing was fucking crushing him. It was dark inside and he was...
What is going on here now? My big 48-inch monitor is flickering like a bastard.
Is it?
Yeah.
Power surge.
All of a sudden it's going blah, 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 blah.
Power surge. Look at the sizing chart of that. Look at the sizing. That fucking whale shark.
So that on the top left-hand corner here is your great white. It's 7 meters, and your whale shark in the middle is 18 meters. It's huge.
It's mad.
And then your basking shark is the one that's down in this left-hand corner. That's a basking shark there. Unbelievably big.
You have those in the Scottish waters? Fuck.
Yeah, but they don't do any harm to anyone. The only meat-eating sharks we had in, as far as I know, in the North Sea, that certainly hung around our rigs were called port bagel sharks. And all they would eat is fish. We got a lot of orcas and things like that you would see out there.
What was the megalodon's supposed size? Do we know? I just seen Wagyu mention it. What was the supposed size of that megalodon, Wagyu?
Yeah, I'm going to restart the computer and see if this improves matters, because this is flickering like a real bastard right across the entire screen. And let's see what's going on. Back in a moment.
Yep.
Just try to see this one here. So the megalodon's on the top. But now they see these are all like prehistoric fish because they're all megalodon, and then the conservative size is the red one. Rhynchodon, typus is average. Carcarius is average.
60 to 80 feet, Wagyu was saying.
That's a big old fucking shark, that, isn't it?
To be a carnivore that fucking big.
You have to constantly eat to sustain that kind of energy.
Look at the size of that's in comparison to a human.
Yeah. See, that's ridiculous.
Like you need to constantly eat. You are designed to eat. That's it. Roam the waters and fucking eat. Scotty, what was the worst storm that you had in one of those oil rigs?
Oh, we had some beauties because it's the North Sea, so it's...
How big were those waves getting, to be honest?
I'll send you... I've got some videos. I've got some videos, I think, in my phone. If not, I'll have them in my email somewhere and I'll send them through to you. There was one... On the platforms, it's not bad because they're fixed to the seabed. So you'll feel the platform move. It'll kind of sway side to side, but there's ballast, like the legs. Basically what they do is the rig itself, the substructure...
Can you show them now? Can you show them now while you talk about it?
They're in my phone, I think.
Aye.
I'd have to go searching.
Well, go on. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Yeah, when they sail the rigs out, they go out there on a leg structure. There's a substructure that basically all the accommodation in the rig itself gets sat on. So they'll sail them out on their side like that, and they're basically filled with air. And then when they get on location, they ballast them so that they basically turn the right way and then lower them down to the seabed. And some of them will just be filled with some of them are filled with concrete. Some of them are filled with well, they've just got enough weight that they'll sit down on the seabed themselves just due to the weight. So these ones that are fixed to the seabed, you'll feel them sway no matter how big the waves get. And like in the North Sea, the lowest point of the rig before you've got escape ladders is usually about 60 foot off the surface of the water, because that then allows for the majority of the biggest waves to just go under the rig and sort of wash through the substructure. But when you're on a semi-sub, you're actually on the water and it floats and it's only anchored to the seabed. And if the sea gets that bad, sometimes you have to actually pull the anchors and just basically let yourself float about until it sorts itself out. It's sometimes they'll pull the anchors, stop drilling, and move to a different location. It varies really. But the worst one that I was in was on a semi sub, and I sent Shona a video, and I'd rested my phone basically up against a window screen like this, and pushed this phone up against the window screen in the radio ops office, and then that would give you a true sort of vision of because you could see the sea level in the background. And as the rig was rocking, you would see the whole deck of the rig would be facing down to the water. And then this next minute, it would be facing up at the sky.
Oh,
and then it would be facing back down to the water. And the whole rig was basically just boop, boop, like this. And that lasted probably a day and a half, I think.
Is that like no one goes outdoors at that point, correct?
People will go out to do certain checks, and certain work can be done. But when it gets as choppy as that, everything's kind of restricted. There's no one allowed to be up the derrick, because you'll know on an oil rig, they've always got that sort of pointy structure, which is called the derrick, and that's where all the pipe gets racked back. And there's usually a derrickman up the top of there that stands on a board that's basically 90 feet up in the air. And he stands there basically with a harness on, and he leans out of this board and throws the drill pipe out as we're drilling it down. So all that kind of work would get suspended. Anything that's at heights really would get suspended, and everything has to be kind of positioned in such a way that it'll not move on the rig. There's things will get tied off, and we know the storms are coming, so they'll say, right, look, get everything, make sure that all the areas, everything's tied off so nothing's going to be blowing around. Because out there it's a place of work, so you've got like sheets of plywood and all sorts of things lying about that people will use for certain jobs. So all these things have to get sort of tied off and make sure there's no debris that's going to go flying around during the storm and wipe someone out.
So do you have to tether yourself in as well? Like
not so much. No, you don't really need to tether yourself. It can get very windy. The North Sea is the only place that I've seen rain go up the way, because the wind was so high, it was hitting off the side of the rig, and it would come up through the steps, and the rain would be going up your nostrils because the wind was so high.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn, what a life, man. I'm just lost in imagination about that shit.
What? I mean, so total catastrophe. Do they have like little mini rescue ships or skiffs?
Oh yeah. So basically, every rig has got to have what they call a standby vessel, and they've got like fast rescue crafts and things on them. So if I've seen it when I've been out there, that maybe an abseiler or something's doing work down the side of the rig, and he makes a mistake and drops it in the water. And the North Sea is cold. So even in the midst of summer, it rises by a couple of degrees at the most. It's always freezing cold. And they reckon sort of 15 to 20 minutes is as long as you're going to get in the water before you're really struggling. So these fast rescue crafts, they're out there. The standby vessels with these fast rescue crafts are there all the time. So these guys work sometimes 2 months at a time, and then they'll crew change. And then the guys that have been working 2 months go home, but the boat never leaves. They always keep the boat there just to make sure that everyone's safe, really.
Jeez.
And other than that, it's helicopters. helicopters and supply vessels. They may, if there was a big disaster, like Piper Alpha. You've obviously heard of the Piper Alpha disaster.
No,
you guys, maybe
no.
you haven't. But that was one of the world's biggest recorded disasters, and that was in the North Sea. Like, I've been on the Piper Bravo, which was the replacement rig for the Piper Alpha, and I was also on the Claymore, which was the Piper Alpha's sister rig. It was an identical rig, and you could actually see the Piper Alpha from the Claymore. But if you search for Piper Alpha disaster, there was 160 odd guys basically died because the whole rig went up on fire. And there was a lot of lessons learned from that one. But,
oh my God! So what was the actual outcome? What transpired?
The outcome was it was at a shift change, and guys were going out, and usually there's permits at the time. Permits nowadays, when they'll issue a permit, say, especially like say you guys that you're doing your what they would class as a hot work permit if you're working with like fire and heat and all this kind of stuff. And it would all be, nowadays it's all controlled. So if someone's going to be working on a gas line, you will not get a hot work permit because there's somebody going to be working down the same corridor as you on a gas line in case there's an escape of gas and you blow something up. But back then, the permit control was really bad. There was a lot of lessons to be learned, plus the fact that because it was such a go, get the oil out the ground, the OIMs, who are the managers of the rig, were basically told you do not shut in without town's permission. So Piper Alpha could have closed all the wells in and stopped feeding this fire that was on the rig, but not one of the OIMs had the bottle to basically shut it in. And all their comms went down, and there was various heaps of mistakes that went on. Other rigs that were feeding fuel to this rig, because what will generally happen is you'll get a field of rigs, maybe 5 or 6 rigs, and there'll be one main rig that sort of takes all the fuel or the oil that's getting drilled from other rigs, and it all gets fed through one and then piped or shipped back to town. And the Piper Alpha was the central rig of that field. So everyone's, like the Claymore's oil was going through them, the Tartan, another rig, their fuel, the Scott. There was a heap of other rigs that were pumping fuel through them, and none of those OIMs shut their fuel down. They never shut the wells in. So all those other rigs were feeding fuel into this fire that was basically literally burning 160, I think it was 168 or 169 men.
Good God. Did anyone survive?
There was a few. I can't remember exactly the number, but when I worked on the Saltire, which was a new rig that was put in after the Piper, and the OIM, the manager of that rig, he's quite famous in the Piper Alpha videos because he got pulled out of the sea. He managed to run up the stairs. He wasn't an OIM, he wasn't a manager at the time, he was just a production worker, and he managed to run up all these stairs. But he was interviewed after it, and he said his boots were literally melting as he was running up these stairs, and he got up to the heli deck, which is the highest point of the rig, and jumped off the heli deck and into the sea, which is probably about 200 and something feet. And he survived the lot, but he got like stretchered out of the water, and his face, it was kind of like that Freddy Krueger burn marks all down his neck and his arms, but he survived. He managed to get himself out there. Yeah, it was horrendous. That
cold water
disaster.
probably saved his fucking life.
Well, yeah. Because I think he got out of the water quite quick. I think if he'd been in there any length of time, that probably would have been the thing that ended up catching him. But there was a few people survived that, and it was. I remember watching one documentary, because the ones that seemed to survive were the ones that got to the highest point. And they all said the same thing, that the rig was so hot that the heli deck was literally melting their boots as they were running. So they were having to peel their boots as they were running across this heli deck to jump off.
God.
And one guy had spent God knows how many years thinking that he'd killed someone, because when he went to jump off the heli deck, he bumped into another guy, didn't mean to, and the guy sort of fell off. And it transpired that it was years and years later that he found out, no, that guy's not dead. And they ended up bringing the two of them together in this interview. And he found out, no, he'd spent years thinking that he'd killed this guy by mistake as he jumped off the rig, but he didn't kill him. The guy still survived. So the two of them then met up years and years later, obviously completely destroyed by what happened to them, but horrible thing.
So has there been actions to take better precautions since this incident?
Better precautions isn't the word. It's probably gone too far, if there is a too far.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was. You basically can't fart without needing a permit for it. It was to the point of, I can understand it because of something like that happening, but then it kind of snowballed, and it just got to the point where you just couldn't do anything without needing paperwork for it. But yeah, Chrome, the rig didn't melt. The people on it did.
Do you think it was instant? These people died? You think it was close to being instant? Like they didn't too much suffer?
2 seconds. My mic's just gone. 2 seconds. Are you able to hear me just now? Yeah.
No, it sounds like you're kind of like
miles away.
Yeah.
I think my radio mic's just. Hang on, I'll try and plug it in and see if I can get a charge in this thing. Testing.
Still far away, but we can hear you. It's raining like a bastard outside right now.
No, it's not going to let me. It's completely died. It's probably the length of time we've been on.
Yeah.
Before, because we were obviously in here beforehand as well.
Yeah. Well, look, this is a great place to stop. We can come back tomorrow, continue the talks. Kent's having issues, Scotty's having issues, and I'm fucking hungry. So thank you, everyone, for coming in. Appreciate you for always committing to the Symptoms of Reality nonsense. Today marks 205 days. We are absolutely doing it. There's no time to turn around and look back now. Full steam ahead.
Full steam ahead.
We are over halfway, and I think I could see the finish line.
Oh, no, wait. No, that's just Ken Spong's foreskin.
Never mind.
I thought that was the finish line.
It's the bright almighty.
Jeez.
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming in. Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Wednesday? Question mark? Yes.
So we will be having another conversation. We might do a jam. We'll see how tomorrow goes. It's a quite busy day tomorrow. Those of you who don't know, or Dave, Asif knows about it, but we started a workout program for beginners. You can catch that on the other channel. That is Ideations of Men. And we shall see you tomorrow. Thank you, Scotty.
Tomorrow.
Thank you, Kent.
I love you.
Tomorrow
Is only
a
day away. Love, bye.
love. Bye.
Peace out. Bye-bye.